Hi, I hope you're having a great day. Well, today I want to talk about type 2 diabetes. I've done several videos on this subject before, but specifically over the last couple of months, we've been seeing hundreds and hundreds of people reverse their diabetes. No, they didn't sign up for plans with us. They didn't get onto programs. They just made simple lifestyle changes. And today I want to share how possible it is for you to reverse your type 2 diabetes if you have it. The number one thing that we need to understand is India now stands as the diabetic capital of the world. And this is shameful considering the fact that we have access to good food, we have access to gyms, we have access to so much of information, but yet type 2 diabetes is getting worse. The numbers are going higher and higher. The first thing that we need to understand about type 2 diabetes, it is a lifestyle disease. It is a dietary disease. This means that your poor lifestyle choices and your poor diet is the number one cause that you have type 2 diabetes right now. And it is the number one reason, if you're not changing your lifestyle and food, why you still have type 2 diabetes and why your medication is getting more and more. A lot of people out there believe and still think that it's okay to maintain good sugar levels with the medication they're on. Yes, medicine is necessary. If you are on medication right now for type 2 diabetes, you have to listen to your doctor and you just can't jump off your medication. But use that medication as a crutch. And like I said, it is a dietary illness. It is a lifestyle disorder, which means when you start making changes in your diet, we don't need to do fad diets to heal your diabetes. We don't need to do extremes to heal your diabetes. You don't have to do that. You need to make small lifestyle changes that we're going to talk about today. But number one, before you try to heal any condition in your body, be it a cancer, be it cardiovascular, high blood pressure, diabetes, you need to understand what's happening in your body. What's happening today is people get diabetes and people are, only looking at their sugar levels. Before meal, after meal, it's fine, that's great, not fine, increase the dosage, take a pill, the pill's not working, let's move on to insulin. You see, you're only suppressing your symptoms and it's going to get worse and worse. You need to understand that living with a condition in your body that isn't producing the right amount of insulin, or your cells are unable to use insulin effectively, doesn't only keep the problem with your pancreas and your sugar levels. Everything in the human body is interconnected. If you have a problem with diabetes, you have a problem with your pancreas. You have a problem with your pancreas, you have a problem with digestion. Everything, your liver, your kidney, your blood pressure, the health of your heart, the health of your cells, immunity, your mood, the ability for the body to heal is all interrelated with the condition that you may have type 2 diabetes. So you need to make a mindset change right now that it is not okay to live with this condition. Just because you're on medication and your blood sugar levels are fine, you should still be putting effort to get rid of this condition completely. There are very, very, very few people who may need medication for a lifetime because they have type 2 diabetes with a whole load of other complications. We're not talking about type 1 today, we're just going to focus on type 2. So let's understand what's happening in your body. We eat food. Good food will contain carbohydrates, good quality, fats and proteins. We digest this food, it's broken down into your system, your carbs, your proteins and fats are broken down. Okay, your carbs get broken down into glucose, it gets absorbed into your bloodstream. Okay, the moment there's glucose that enters your bloodstream, your pancreas secretes something called insulin. Now, insulin is a hormone. Okay, remember this very carefully, that insulin is a hormone. So when you have a hormonal imbalance in your body, not only cortisol, not only testosterone, not only estrogen is getting impacted, but insulin as well. Okay, so your pancreas secrete insulin. The job of insulin is to guide these glucose molecules to your cells, to your muscle cells and your fat cells. Picture this, insulin knocks at your cell door, the cell doors open, it deposits the glucose molecules into your fat cells or your muscle cells, the cells close and it stores it for future usage, breakdown into energy. Now what happens in type 2 diabetes? Over time, the blood sugar levels rise, the pancreas produces insulin, the insulin knocks at the door of your cell, but the cell doesn't open, the cell doesn't hear that knock. So your pancreas produces more insulin, and those cell walls don't open. That's basically insulin insensitivity, insulin resistance, or type 2 diabetes, where your cells can no longer hear that knock from insulin. Now, why does this happen? The problem with this is if our pancreas have to keep on producing more and more insulin, it has a life as well. Then after a while, it's unable to produce insulin. And now you have a bigger problem. You move from your diabetic medicine to insulin because your pancreas can't produce insulin anymore. We have to understand that diabetes human beings are not not cars, we're not pieces of machine where you look at a problem in the engine and you only change the engine part, or you do engine work and you solve the problem. Everything in the human body is interconnected. The complication of diabetes is huge. It's not just your sugar levels. It's the weakening of the pancreas. If you have weak or inflamed pancreas, you have pancreatitis. Pancreatitis usually has the possibility of developing into pancreatic cancers. You have inflammation, you have acidity, you have indigestion, everything to do, because your pancreas also produce enzymes that help you break down proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So it affects your digestion as well. Then you have metabolic syndrome, which most people suffer from today. You have PCOD, you have poor eye health, glaucomas, kidney diseases. There's a huge connection between kidney disease and your diabetes. So you want to make every effort possible to heal your type 2 diabetes and reverse before it becomes something bigger. You have low immunity, it affects the health of your nerves, you have delayed healing of your wounds, and of course you have infections. Well, let's move straight into the solution. Like I said, it doesn't have to be extreme, but I can guarantee people who are willing to put in a little bit of effort, a little bit of discipline, and use a little bit of common sense, they have the possibility to reverse their type 2 diabetes. I can see people logging into this video right now, and many of them are people who have already reversed their type 2 diabetes. Okay, let's talk about weight. Number one, I'm not talking about 5 kilos of weight loss. I'm not talking about 10. I'm not talking about 15. I'm trying to tell you that even 1 inch of fat loss is enough to start bringing down your blood sugar levels. You lose even 1 inch. Forget about the scale and what the scale tells you. You want to see how your clothes are fitting you. If your clothes start fitting you better, you drop a size, you're losing fat. Fat equals inch loss. A lot of people get confused, and a lot of people out there, men and women, are addicted to that scale, that number that they see on the scale every morning. In fact, that number can actually control their behavior and mood for the rest of the day if it's the number that they don't want to see. You have to understand, when you're looking at the weighing scale, the weight that you lose could be muscle mass, it could be fat loss, it could be bone density, it could be water weight. But when you lose inches, you've lost fat. The best indicator for that is the way your clothes fit you. So even an inch of fat loss, and most people can aim for an inch of fat loss, will bring a much, much better sugar level in your next reports. We have to understand that obesity is a huge issue. So don't look for large goals of losing weight. Start off with something as simple as 1 inch at a time, and you will see that your blood sugar levels start getting better. The number one cause that I would say is not white sugar. It is not white sugar. It is a sedentary lifestyle. We have to understand that the human body is designed to move. It is not designed to spend the kind of time that we spend today in chairs, on our bed, chilling and all of that stuff, in cars. It's different. Life has it like that. We have to travel. We can't change our desk jobs, but you have to put in that effort to stay active for the remainder part of your day. You may have a desk job that requires you to sit for 8 hours, but that doesn't stop you from getting up every 45 minutes, standing up, touching your toes, doing a little bit of a twist, doing 1 or 2 squats, going and getting your own water, going to the loo. Just that kind of movement is what your body needs. Your sedentary lifestyle is the number one cause. It is not white sugar. White sugar plays a huge role, yes, but more than that is a sedentary lifestyle. Most diabetics that we know today have a glass of chai in the morning. They have 2 cups of chai with sugar in the morning. It doesn't affect their sugar levels because they're making up for it with their activity. Activity is so important for your levels. Bad nutrition. We have to understand that all your processed foods, your biscuits, your white flour, your white salt, your white sugar, all of the processed foods are extremely detrimental to your sugar levels. And today there are a lot of people doing all of these sugar-free products and sugar-free sweets. You want to get transparency and ask them what they are using as sweeteners. Sugar-free doesn't mean you use aspartame. Sugar-free doesn't mean you load it with jaggery, because jaggery has the same effect as white sugar on your sugar levels in the human body. It's a little bit healthier because it's got a little bit of iron, it's got a little bit of magnesium, it's got a little bit of trace minerals in it. So it is healthier, but it has the same impact on your sugar levels. So in this whole obsession to eat healthier, and we go on chasing all these health products, you want to be sure of what they're sweetening with it. Some people stuff it with jaggery and honey and all of those things. It's not making your diabetes any better. What I'm aiming for is simplicity, your basic normal Indian food in the right proportion, right quantity, coupled with the right amount of activity. Let's move to the next point. High and uncontrolled stress levels. Now remember what I said, insulin is a hormone. I'm going to repeat it again. What happens when we're constantly stressed? Cortisol, which is a hormone, rises. When cortisol goes up, okay, progesterone goes, estrogen falls, progesterone goes up, testosterone goes up. Different hormones go up and down. You see, one hormone goes up, a couple of hormones come down. Insulin gets impacted with your stress levels as well. And a lot of diabetics out there will understand this. When they're highly stressed, they have high sugar levels. So you need to understand that every hormone in the human body gets impacted with high levels of chronic stress. So you need to understand that working with your mind, body, your emotional health is also a huge game changer in you reversing your diabetes. Sleep, again, why? We go on about the magic of sleep and the importance of sleep. The entire hormonal balance happens while you sleep. Hormones, insulin. Insulin is a hormone. So when you sleep, all that hormonal balance happens. So if you're diabetic and you have less hours of sleep, it's a huge issue. It's going to be an obstacle towards your healing. Now, what we have to understand is diabetes is a nutritional wasting disease. You lose a lot of nutrients through the urine that you pass. Now, some of these nutrients are required for your cell sensitivity. Remember we spoke about insulin knocking at your cell door, and the cell doesn't hear the knock, and so your blood sugar levels just rise because your insulin is unable to put the glucose molecules into your cells. So what happens is the B vitamins, the whole B vitamin class is required for cell sensitivity. So is vitamin C, so is vitamin D3, trace minerals like zinc, like selenium. Now when you have diabetes, like I said, it's a nutritional wasting disease. You urinate a lot of these vitamins and trace minerals out of your system. So this has to be replenished. If you want to heal your diabetes, no amount of sugar pills that your doctor has given you is going to heal you. It's going to suppress your symptoms and put you in a safer place, but it's not going to heal you. You want to heal, you get to the root cause of everything that happens in the human body. So if you're depleting all these vitamins and minerals that I just spoke about that your cells actually need to handle insulin and glucose better, you got to make sure that you're putting it back into your diet through your foods. So then you look at your basic foods like your fruits, your vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, your lentils, and you're automatically replenishing all of these lost and depleted vitamins and minerals, which is why nutrition is so important for you. If you have a high sugar diet, I'm talking about refined sugar, you need to understand, besides the numerous negative side effects of white sugar, in a diabetic especially, white sugar will deplete your key electrolytes, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. When you have a deficiency of these electrolytes and a deficiency of trace minerals like zinc and selenium, your cells cannot work the right way, which means insulin will go on knocking and your cells will go on staying closed. So it just brings you back to a balanced diet to replenish all that you're losing. Now, white bread is basically a diabetic bomb. You need to understand. Okay, let's get back into science for a little bit. So how do pharmaceuticals test diabetic drugs on rats? We all know that most of the drugs are tested on rats. Now, if you want to test a diabetic drug, you need to test it on a rat that has diabetes. Okay, so now how do you induce diabetes into a rat? You basically inject it with a deadly chemical called alloxin. And alloxin makes the rat diabetic, and then you can test your drug on that diabetic rat. White bread contains that same chemical called alloxin, which is why white bread is deadly for people who have diabetes. You want to make sure that you cut out your whites completely when you have diabetes. No, I'm sorry, not even a slice. Not even a slice. That's if you want to heal. I said this is going to take a little bit of discipline and effort. Okay, not even a slice of white bread in your diet if you want to heal from diabetes. Now, we're lucky to be in a country like India where we have fantastic healing spices. I'm talking about Sri Lankan rolled cinnamon. You want to try this. You take half a teaspoon of cinnamon, mix with a glass of water, have it 30 minutes after your meal, and you're going to see a drop in your blood sugar levels. You have fenugreek, you have turmeric, you have aloe vera, you have curry leaves, you have oregano, you have garlic, you have moringa, you have apple cider vinegar, you have coconut vinegar, you have jamun vinegar. These are natural Indian foods that have a very positive impact on your blood sugar levels. You put it in your diet the right way, according to what you're eating, according to your carbohydrate distribution, and it will work like a diabetic medication. Now again, this doesn't mean you jump off your medications. For that, you got to take advice from your doctors, but I'm trying to show you the possibility and the things that people are using to heal and reverse their type 2 diabetes completely. If you have type 2 diabetes and you're high on dairy and non-vegetarian, if you want to start bringing a gradual fall in your sugar levels, you want to slowly get off dairy and you want to slowly get off meat for a while. You want to go more onto a plant-based diet because this reduces inflammation in your body. If this it reduces inflammation in your pancreas are able to function better and produce the right amount of insulin. So moving plant-based for a while, what I'm telling you doesn't have to be permanent. If you want to make it a permanent lifestyle, that's up to you. But you have a problem in the body, which means you got to do something differently if you want to have different results. So moving plant-based and reducing or getting off your dairy will also have a positive impact on your type 2 diabetes. So I'm going to sum it up in the top 3 things that you should be doing if you want to reverse your type 2 diabetes. Number 1, exercise. Exercise, walk. If you don't get your 1-hour gym workout, walk. Get more steps every single day. There's no magic in the 10,000 steps a day. That's a great benchmark for you to know whether you are active or sedentary. It could be 9,000 for some, 8,000 for some, 15,000 for other people. The idea is let's start using common sense, okay? No number of steps is going to take away your diabetes. Use it as a benchmark to make sure that you are active. It's a great indicator to make sure that you're active throughout the day. Exercise. For people who have diabetes, this is something really important. 30 minutes after your breakfast, 30 minutes after your lunch, and 30 minutes after your dinner. If you can walk for 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, if you can, this has a major positive impact on your blood sugar levels. Try to walk 30 minutes post your meal if you can. If you can't do it at all 3 meals, that's fine. Try to do it for 2. If you can't do it for 2, do it for at least 1. And you're going to see a huge change in the way your blood sugar levels behave. So exercise, things like yoga, all of these things, anything that's movement. There are great yoga asanas that also helps you with your pancreas stimulation and your diabetes as well. We spoke about sleep. We spoke about junk food. Now the third thing, if you want to change your type 2 diabetes right now, you need to make a conscious effort to start lowering your carbohydrate intake. Now when I'm talking about your carbohydrate intake, I'm not talking about your fruits. I'm talking about your grains. I'm talking about your white foods. So a lot of people get fearful when they understand that they have to go low carb. But here's a simple test for everyone. Reduce your carbs by even 1 spoon in a day at every meal. And over a week, you will notice that your blood sugar levels start falling. So when I say low carb, I'm against fat diets. I'm not saying go off carbs completely. So if you have 2 idlis in the morning, you want to make it 1 idli in the morning and have something else. Okay? If you have 2 rotis, you want to make it 1. If you have a bowl of rice, reduce it by 1 or 2 tablespoons and have more vegetables and more lentils. Now, this is something that you need to do for yourself, because I can promise you one thing. If you decrease your carbohydrates, you will see a better behavior in your sugar levels behaving the right way. Remember, it is not about glycemic index. It plays a role, but more important is the glycemic load. In fact, people are getting off fruits because they think they're simple sugars, but you need to understand that fruits actually have compounds and enzymes that will heal your diabetes. So if you want to have fruits in your diet, you can have fruits in your diet if you're diabetic, but you got to balance the other carbohydrates. So if I want to have fruits for breakfast, I am going to cut down my carbohydrates like my poha, my idli, my dosa, and all of that stuff. I said cut it down, even a little bit. Don't deprive yourself, don't starve yourself, cut it down even a little bit every day. At the end of the day, before you sleep, you should be able to tell yourself, I cut down my carbs today at every single meal. Or if you want, at night, you can go low carb or off carb completely. I leave that up to you according to the lifestyle that you have. But if you reduce your carbohydrates a little bit at every meal, you will see how your blood sugar levels change. It is as simple as that. We have to reduce the load of carbohydrates in the human body. So you can increase your protein, you can increase your good fats, you can increase your fiber, you can increase your vegetables, your lentils, all of that. But slowly reduce your carbohydrates. This requires a mindset change, because all of us believe that, no, this is my staple diet and I have to eat this kind of quantity. But now you have a condition in your body. So it requires you to do different things to get different results. So number 1, I'm going to sum it up quickly. Go low carb. Cut down your carbs, even 1 spoon. 1 spoon less at each meal is going to make a huge difference. Get in more activity, even if it's just walking or yoga, that's good enough for you. Get your sleep into place and cut out processed food. You do these 4 things and I can guarantee the statistics of diabetes in India will come down. For everyone else who believes that I'm happy on my medication, my sugar levels are fine and my doctors told me I'm okay, understand, that you will have side effects. You will have consequences at some point, because every medication that you take has a side effect in the human body, and no one escapes that. Have a great day, everyone. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep. Yes, and take care of your stress levels as well, because we all know now how stress impacts your insulin as well. It's a hormone. Never forget that. Have a great day, everyone.